Hey, folks. Well, we all know, those of us of intelligence, we all know that the impeachment is a sham. We know it's a sham. We know it's a bunch of bull, just total junk. It's bull. I mean, the videos that I'm about to play, I'm going to play a lot of them, one after the other, because some of them are kind of short. I mean, they're all pretty much in some way saying the same thing, but let's get into them.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer unveiling his list of demands for a Senate impeachment trial, calling for witnesses as the House Judiciary Committee releases its 658-page impeachment report overnight, and has the Supreme Court undercut one of the two articles of impeachment already. Let's discuss it with Democratic strategist Dave Brown and attorney to President Trump, Jenna Ellis. Good to have you both back with us tonight.
Let me point something out real quick. So dumbass Chuck Schumer is trying to throw out rules when they didn't themselves in the House follow the rules. They didn't follow the rules, but they're going to try and tell the Senate to follow the rules and call witnesses, which is exactly what the Senate would do. As a matter of fact, they're going to call Biden, and they're going to call a whole bunch of people that you don't want them to call. So why are you, oh my God, you guys are so stupid. You're literally telling them to do what exactly they would do. Because here's the thing, the more witnesses that they call, have you all not even realized this in the last 3 years, you dumbass Democrats, is the fact that the more you all have investigated, the more dirt has come out on all of you. Seriously, it's just beyond stupid. But anyway, hey y'all, I'm Mark. I'm still thinking about if I'm going to actually change the name of the channel, Honey Badger No Care. But like and share, try and grow this channel. And as I said, let's continue into this.
Great to see you, Shannon. Okay, I want to play a little bit of what the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had to say today about his proposal.
I haven't seen a single good argument about why these witnesses shouldn't testify or these documents be produced, unless the president has something to hide.
What witnesses? All these people that they had on there, they were nothing but either professors giving their opinion, or, and I'm just curious, witnesses to what? Literally during your bogus hearing that you all had, the Republicans were going, what were they witnessed to? What did they witness? They didn't witness anything. They weren't there. They didn't. So, well, they should call these people as witnesses. Why? When they were literally torn down during your own hearing that they didn't witness anything. Why would you be trying to tell the Senate what to do? That doesn't make any sense. And again, they would actually call witnesses. They're going to call probably the same people that you idiots called, and not the professors, because why would you call people just to give their stupid opinion about things? It's just dumb.
And his supporters want that information hidden.
Jenny, he has some very specific requests, including Mick Mulvaney and John Bolton, among others. And he says, why should...
Here's the thing. Trump and his people didn't want anything hidden. They just wanted to call their own witnesses and to have their lawyers and to actually have it be literally a fair, hearing. You all get to ask your questions. They all get to ask their questions. That's what they wanted. They wanted a fair hearing. You all controlled everything. No lawyers involved, none of their witnesses. The Republicans didn't get to ask any questions. You all controlled all of it. So how are you going to tell the Senate to do their job when you didn't do yours?
And these witnesses show up in a Senate trial. Well, it's really hypocritical coming from Chuck Schumer after the Republican minority in the House has been forestalled at every single turn for the last 2.5 months. I mean, this is ridiculous that Democrats are now calling for fairness and for due process and all of these things that were absolutely 100% denied in the House. And so I think that it's really ridiculous that he stands up there and is saying that, this now has to be a fair and constitutional process, when of course the Democrats have not been for that whatsoever. And so if he were actually looking at fairness, if you were actually looking at impartiality.
This is what gets me when it comes to Democrats and the people who vote for these fucking idiots. Do you not realize, and I've said this in numerous of my videos, do you not realize we're watching the same thing you're watching? I've never understood. I'm not a Christian. I was kind of, because of my grandma being Southern Baptist, the whole Southern charismatic Baptist, that I never understood. I mean, my grandma had one of those, like the huge, like the giant, like family tree, old Bibles, that has the family tree in it and everything, that some dumbass in my family stole it after grandma died. But I was reading that as a kid. I was reading that. And I mean, it still included Lilith in it, Adam's first wife that most people don't know about. But as I'm reading it, I was starting to point out a lot of hypocrisy. I was starting to point out even this is me as a child, like 5, 6 years old, questioning why is it that we're even going to church? I thought we could talk to God and communicate with God anywhere. Well, it's because of their interpretation. I thought we were all supposed to read the Bible ourselves and absorb that energy and that knowledge ourselves. Doesn't that mean that we ourselves interpret it the way we want to interpret it? How is this other person going to interpret the word, in his way, his view? Because I started asking a ton of questions when I was a kid. Okay, well, are we all reading are they all reading the same Bible? Because I was like, there's Catholics and Protestants and Presbyterians and your Christians and, your Baptist and your Southern Baptist. I was like, are they not reading the same Bible? It's like, well, yeah, for the most part, they are reading the same Bible. Okay, I'm getting even more confused then. Well, then why are there different religions within the one religion if you're all reading the same damn Bible? I never understood that as a kid growing up. It was like, so then that means that everybody's interpreting the Bible differently. Well, then who's right? This is me asking my grandma this question. And of course, she got mad because she was all dedicated Christian and everything. So she got all mad and everything. But I'm like, I'm just asking questions here. I thought we were supposed to question things. And of course, that whole response of, well, you're not supposed to question God. And I was like, I'm not questioning God, I'm questioning you. It's like, I'm questioning you, Grandma. So how was it all interpreted different, kind of thing? So I'm looking at everything that's, as I said, I'm seeing all of this go on for myself. No witnesses, no evidence, no facts. It's all hearsay. Every one of this damn witnesses that were supposedly the bombshell witnesses for the Democrats all literally said, well, we weren't there. We didn't see anything. We can't tell you anything that is actual fact. So what made them expert witnesses even for them? As I said, I'm watching the same thing. We're all watching the same thing. So I'm just trying to understand how we could all be watching the same thing and Democrats still be dumb enough to believe, because I've got friends of mine on Facebook that were posting, Donald Trump is impeached. And I was like, did you not take political science in school? Did you not take government in class, in school? Do you not know how there used to be that song, remember on Saturday night cartoon or Saturday morning cartoons, I'm a bill, I'm only a bill. It literally explains in the fucking cartoon that we watched as children what is supposed to happen. And you're telling me that people as adults don't know this? It is so stupid. It's like he wasn't impeached. They literally they fixed it. They basically, these assholes fixed an election. They fixed a hearing and then turn around and going, he's impeached. It's like, no, now it goes to the Senate and it actually goes through a court process at this point, calling actual witnesses and going through all the evidence that you guys collect. Here's what's really funny about the whole thing. And this is going to come up in one of the other videos. Nancy Pelosi is saying there's more evidence than they said during the hearing. And everybody like me is going, so wait, there's supposed to be more bombshell evidence in these documents that you all didn't release, because the crap you released is nothing but shit. When somebody lights, the Halloween trick where somebody takes a bunch of dog shit and puts it in a bag and burns it and everything, that's what you guys have done. You have everything that you're saying is your evidence. And remember the one day, I remember the other video I just did recently where it's like, oh, the bombshell. And that bombshell evidence turned out to be nothing. So how can we all be watching the same thing and idiots still think that there's evidence? Idiots thought that so he's not impeached. And it's like, and that's what pissed me off when Nancy Pelosi came out, and all of them, the 5 or whatever the fuck, these bitches are, AOC and all in Schlieb or whatever the hell her name is and crap, coming out saying, oh, he's impeached. I'm like, why are you using that word? He's not. You're people who work. I mean, there's no way they are that stupid. But you're in a political seat. You're supposed to be the people that were voted for, into these offices. And you have no idea how the government works. He's not impeached. The articles haven't even been introduced because Nancy Pelosi is holding on to him like fucking Gollum and shit. My precious. But she knows she doesn't have anything. We all know this is a sham.
He would be asking for this whole entire case to be dismissed because they're not even impeaching President Trump for a crime, for nothing. There was absolutely no legitimate legal or constitutional basis to even get to this point. So for him to be standing up there saying this is just entirely hypocritical and ridiculous. And I want to point out too, Shannon, that this week we have the House voting tomorrow on appropriations, which includes the wall funding that President Trump campaigned on, that the American people elected him to do. Then we also have Thursday, the USMCA, which President Trump campaigned on. He pledged and he's fulfilling his promises. Right smack dab in the middle of that.
Now remember, everything that she's pointing out here, the wall, the US MAC, everything that she's pointing out, it comes up in another video, a more recent video, because this is from 4 days ago.
Impeachment over what? Nothing. President Trump is absolutely fulfilling his promises, and it's so hypocritical. Let's bring Dave in, because Dave, of course, Democrats will then say, look, we're proving that we can actually get stuff done. In the middle of impeachment. I mean, if they work with him on USMCA and this appropriations thing, I mean, this has been one of the main critiques of them, is that they aren't getting anything done but impeachment. But to this point, Mark Meadows, obviously a Republican congressman who's been a big supporter of the president and defender of him, tweets this: I have to laugh seeing Democrats and some pundits now suddenly incredulous about the Senate's handling of impeachment. If you missed it, for 2 months, House Democrats ran roughshod over the rules, obliterated precedent, and gave the president virtually zero due process rights. That's Jenna's argument. Your response?
Yeah, well, a lot to unpack here, and I think Jenna and I clearly read a different 658-page committee report, because I'm not sure. I'm not every single page. Look, really quickly on the walking and chewing gum at the same time point. The House under Nancy Pelosi had passed over 400 bills. Around 300 of those are sitting in Mitch McConnell's so-called legislative graveyard in the Senate. He refuses to take them out. He wants judges, and he only wants judges. In fact, Susan Collins has been asking him. She's been begging. She's been saying, please, let's pass some legislation. Let's pick up some of these bills. So that's answer one. That's answer one.
House Democrats, and just like when Republicans are running the show, they pass a bunch of stuff. It's sort of a messaging bill. It goes there knowing it's not going to go anywhere.
Well, Shannon, all I know is that there are 300 pieces of legislation that passed the House that are pending the Senate, and they're not even considering them. So
Yeah, just the same way as she just pointed out that the Democrats do too. But you notice how Democrats, it's like, oh, it's fair when we do it, though. So when they do it, it's unfair. So I mean, I love these Democratic shills that, it's okay for us to break the rules or to play the game within the game, but it's not okay for the opposition to do. And the thing is, every time I call out my friends for that shit, they completely want to ignore the dumb shit that they do on their side and just want to point out your mistakes.
Answer to your first question. Second point about this broader question of process. I mean, I guess nobody has a sense of history or remembers history because if you recall, during Clinton's impeachment in 1998 or 97, none of us were alive. The Republican-led Senate and Democrats passed unanimous consent. They passed a set of rules. Chuck Schumer has asked Mitch McConnell to adopt nearly all of those same rules. The letter that he sent yesterday, very late yesterday, mirrors that same bipartisan package. And there were two votes during the Clinton impeachment. One was by unanimous consent. The other had the unanimous consent of all Republican members of the Senate. So what Chuck Schumer is trying to do is lay out the same set of processes. And by the way, Jenna, I don't understand why your side wouldn't want to have a few witnesses. It would be the first time in the history of this republic.
No,
there have been two other trials. It would be the first time. It would be the first
Would you be okay with Hunter Biden and Adam Schiff being called as witnesses?
I think that backfires for Republicans, but honestly, Shannon, I come down on the side of the Constitution on this one. Yes, I would be.
Okay.
Here's why. Because I think that the American people benefit when we have witnesses and we have a full and fair consideration.
So, Jenna, can you make that deal? They'll give you Hunter and Congressman Schiff. Will you agree to the rest of the package?
It's not up to me, but I think that President Trump has been very clear. If this does proceed to a full and robust trial in the Senate, he's saying bring it on because the American people will see the truth that there's absolutely no evidence against him.
Why the disconnect between the White House and Mitch McConnell on this?
There's absolutely evidence against Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, and I don't think the Democrats really
Sharon,
want that.
I don't get this though. This is this back and forth.
And here's the thing about that. Joe Biden himself bragged about it. I don't understand. What is this mysterious, this evidence that the Democrats keep saying, well, you need the evidence. He fucking bragged about it on video. He literally bragged about it, told the exact story about his son. What more evidence do you need than an actual fucking confession?
I mean, Mitch McConnell has said he's in lockstep with the president, and yet the president has actually wanted to call witnesses. And there's been a huge debate inside the Republican caucus. You guys can't get your strategy straight.
Well, listen, not true. No, it just hasn't been fully fleshed out yet, and we'll see. And so that's where
I guess
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he's going to sit down with Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. They are going to talk about how to proceed here. So we'll see if the two of them in this very feisty, passionate time on Capitol Hill can come to an agreement. And see where this goes in January. So we'll see. Should have been by.
All right. So let's get into the next one because
partisan earlier.
I wish you guys had.
All right. I love Mark Dice. Love Mark Dice. He's awesome. So let's go ahead and get into the next one. Oh, there's stupid commercials. Hold on.
Well, President Trump was impeached last night in the Democrat-controlled House of Representatives, and I'm sure that this has completely ruined his chances for getting reelected next year. Oh, wait, what's this? New poll shows Donald Trump beating all Democratic presidential frontrunners in Iowa.
It's bizarre to think that he's getting cheers on Battle Creek, Michigan on the same night he is literally getting impeached on the floor of the House. It is bizarre, but historians will make more sense of it than we can right now.
All right, Andrew Mitchell, Chuck mentioning that the polling continuing to show nothing has really fundamentally changed. So will actual impeachment change anything?
We don't know because, to be totally honest, one would have thought that over all of these weeks and the testimony and the arguments on the other side, that something would have shifted, but the poll numbers that we...
This is, again, how dumb Democrats are. We're watching the same shit you're watching. We're just not shills and brainwashed to just believe the crap that's been laid out. It's a bunch of crap. And y'all are trying to call it, a pie. It's like, no, that's not even a mud pie. That's literally a big turd. What the hell are you doing? We know it's a turd. We can look right at it. But so the American people, us, me, and others like me, We're watching the same junk you're watching. We're just not brainwashed to believe that there's nothing, yet there's something. So no, his numbers aren't going to go down from us. It's only going to go up. This is how stupid the Democrats are. We know this is all a sham. So Donald Trump's numbers aren't going to go down with people like us because we're watching it ourselves going, this is bullshit. But it will fuck with your numbers on your side because people that are on your side watching it going, man, this is bullshit. So yeah, see, we're intelligent. We're not going to abandon Donald Trump for what? For nothing? What we're not dumb. Y'all are the dumb ones.
Tonight that came out just this evening are exactly identical to the same polling we had in October within the margin of error.
The polls do not look good for the Democrats.
President Trump is winning the messaging war about impeachment. Democrats are losing.
This is absolute partisanship right down the line here. And it may go down.
See, look at the wording that they're using. President Trump impeached. He's not impeached. Oh my God. Bringing back up the point of the Bible, because this was something, again, something that I thought of when I was a kid, when I'm reading the Bible myself, because grandma made me read the Bible. And I'm sitting here reading, like, what is it? The story of Job, I think. I think it's the story of Job, where this is after, of course, where the devil is supposed to have been kicked out of heaven, kicked out, booted out, get out. Yet in that story, I think it's the story of Job, the devil shows up in heaven, like literally like shows up and is like, hey, God, what's up? How's it going? And the devil and God's like, hey, I got this boy down here. He's my favorite follower. He's my best follower. And they literally make a bet over Job's life to where Satan is like, hey, whatever I want. So I'm sitting here going, I guess it's stupid to make that comparison, Donald Trump and Satan. I get the irony. And anyway, but he's not impeached. He's not impeached. Why are they using that word? Why are they using the word that he's impeached when he has not been impeached? You just passed partisan-wise a bunch of two stupid articles that have no evidence in them whatsoever. That's all you did. But it has to go through an entire process before he's impeached, actually impeached. He's not impeached.
In history as an example of how not to do impeachment.
And he will run for re-election, you betcha, as he hadn't had a thing to do with it.
For such a historic day, yesterday felt like an ordinary Wednesday, and impeachment day was a dud. Not a single Republican voted for it, and Tulsi Gabbard didn't vote for it or against it. She just voted that she was president. Democrats are so in shock that President Trump has come out of this completely unscathed that CNN's Jeffrey Toobin doesn't believe his network's own poll.
That poll is wrong. It's just I don't believe it. Well, it makes no sense.
NBC's Chuck Todd is especially disappointed that we don't care that President Trump was impeached, and yesterday felt like an ordinary day with Democrats just airing their grievances.
Chuck, we knew this was going to happen, but to hear the words, the president has been impeached, does the world suddenly wake up to a different world tomorrow?
That's like one of your fellow employees, one of your coworkers getting a write-up, but everybody's running around spreading the rumor that he got fired, but he shows up the next day and it's like, I thought he got fired. No, he was written up, but everybody was spreading that he got fired. No, he was just written up. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. Donald Trump was written up, but he wasn't fired. So again, do you Democrats not take political science? And did you? Especially some of you, because most of you are fucking older than me. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, you're older than me. political science, government, all those were classes when I was going to school, and you motherfuckers are older than I am, and you're going to tell me that you didn't take those classes, considering you've been in government, not just going back to your high school days, but you've been in government how many years, and you don't know how it works? You see, I'm telling you right now, and the president always talks. It's one of the things I love about Donald Trump, because he always talks. He always does his Twitter account and everything. But if I were him, I would have already come out. I mean, I understand he did come out saying it doesn't feel like I'm impeached, but I would have come out going, I'm not impeached. I'd be like filing slander suits against these people. It's like, until I'm actually impeached, you cannot be using that word. That's like being found guilty before you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. And these assholes are already finding him guilty with no evidence whatsoever. He's not even actually charged with a fucking crime anyway for this impeachment process. As I said, Donald Trump's just laughing his ass off, and I understand that completely, but I'm a vindictive bastard. I'd already be like talking to my lawyers going, they need to stop saying that I'm impeached when I'm not. I am not impeached. They just they passed articles, but they haven't even filed the articles. And even then, even filing the articles still doesn't mean that I'd be impeached. It would still have to go through the entire process. The whole guilt proven first, then he'd be impeached.
Was it going to look awfully familiar?
It feels like we're unfortunately looking awfully familiar. As we began this day, it is bizarre to me that this heavy, momentous thing is happening in our country.
A little tiny fiddle. There we go.
Part of the Constitution that's rarely used. It's being used, and there is this sort of, well, it's just another day, or it's just another battle in the political war, the president's holding a rally right now.
Thanks for the reminder, Cup Todd. Let's check in with President Trump at that rally right now. I'm sure he's completely devastated.
I don't know about you, but I'm having a good time. It's crazy. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried, because it's always good when you don't do anything wrong, you get impeached. That may be a record that will last forever. But you know what they have done? They've cheapened the impeachment process.
Yes, they certainly have. And let's not forget what Jerry Nadler had to say about impeachment back in the 1990s when it was happening to Bill Clinton.
The effect of impeachment is to overturn the popular will of the voters as expressed in a national election. There must never be a narrowly voted impeachment or an impeachment substantially supported by one of our major political parties and largely opposed by the other.
Isn't that exactly what you fuckers just did? So it was different when it was Bill Clinton, of course, a Democrat. But again, the rules are different for you.
Such an impeachment would lack legitimacy, would produce divisiveness and bitterness in our politics for years to come, and will call into question the very legitimacy of our political institutions.
And as I've said in numerous videos, literally, based on what the fucker just said from 97, 98, we should be marching on DC, and we should be storming the House and dragging these fuckers out by the scruff of their neck and beating their asses, because they have, by his own words, they have shit on the Constitution. By his own words. They've wasted our time. They've wasted our tax money, by his own words. We should be whipping that ass.
Of course, Hillary Clinton had a perfectly reasonable explanation for what was happening to her husband, and it had nothing to do with Monica Lewinsky at all.
The great story here, for anybody willing to find it and write about it and explain it, is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
And speaking of conspiracies, George W. Bush led us into the Iraq War based off of a conspiracy theory that, of course, later turned out not to be true. But Nancy Pelosi said that she knew before all of us that there were no weapons of mass destruction, but she still didn't want to impeach him.
Speaker Pelosi, you resisted calls for the impeachment of President Bush in 2006 and President Trump following the Mueller report earlier this year. This time is different. Why did you oppose it? Why did you oppose impeachment in the past? And what is your obligation to protect our democracy from the actions of our president now?
Thank you. Thank you for bringing up the question about, because when I became speaker the first time, there was overwhelming call for me to impeach President Bush on the strength of the war in Iraq, which I vehemently opposed. And again, I said it other places. That was my wheelhouse. I was intelligence. I was a ranking member on the Intelligence Committee. Even before I became part of the leadership of Gang of Four. So I knew there were no nuclear weapons in Iraq. It just wasn't there. They had to show us. They had to show the Gang of Four all the intelligence.
You notice how she spitted? He asked her a question, which was, why? And you notice she's just saying a whole bunch of words, but not answering his question.
They had, the intelligence did not show that was the case.
Right. So the intelligence showed that there were no weapons of mass destruction. So why didn't you file impeachment against George Bush?
So I knew it was a misrepresentation to the public. But having said that, it was in my view, not a ground for impeachment.
Whoa. See, now that was an actual criminal act. We attacked a sovereign country with no evidence. We literally went to war. People died over false evidence, but that wasn't enough for impeachment. That wasn't enough. People actually died, and that wasn't enough evidence for impeachment. But we know, like Donald Trump, so we're going to impeach him. Again, why are we not just storming DC and beating the fuck out of the Democrats? We really should.
What better example is there of the establishment protecting itself than Nancy Pelosi openly admitting that she knew the stories of WMDs in Iraq were a fabrication to get us there, but wouldn't impeach George Skull and Bones Bush for that, but decided to impeach President Trump for engaging in diplomacy on the phone with the president of a foreign country. It's important to remember that the Democrats vowed to impeach President Trump literally just minutes after he was inaugurated as president on
Yeah, see, and this is going to come up in multiple videos. They were already calling for him to be impeached, not just minutes after he was inaugurated. They were calling for him to be impeached when he was running, if he wins, which remember, they didn't think that he would. But remember, phone calls and transcripts have come out from the FBI that said, if he wins, we will get rid of him. We will find a way to impeach him. We will find a way to get rid of him. This was before the election. This was, if he wins, we will get rid of him. So they were already impeaching him before this phone call.
January 20th, 2017, as the Washington Post admits, the campaign to impeach President Trump has begun. Democrats are getting so desperate after the impeachment date done that some are resorting to the old Trump rallies are empty line and posting images of the exits where the fire marshals require that there be plenty of open space. But this is what it actually looked like inside.
Just like here in El Paso, around the even when Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz came, which I have his signature on my Trump hat. Even when Ted Cruz came, the fire exits had to be clear. So that's, as a matter of fact, the reason why we didn't get to fill the El Paso Coliseum when Donald Trump came was because the fire marshal, even though it could still hold thousands more, the fire marshal was saying that he made the call, which pissed off even the cops who were working outside. The cops were like, why are they not letting any more people in? The El Paso Coliseum can hold more people. But the fire marshal was saying that, no, we can't let any more people in. He's the one who made the call.
The rally, as usual, completely packed to the rafters with thousands and thousands of people waiting outside for hours in sub-zero temperatures to be there. And
just like here in El Paso.
And if you haven't listened to the Democrats complain enough this week, there's another debate tonight, which will probably be the lowest rated in history, because I'm pretty sure.
And actually it was.
The entire country has heard enough of them for this year. And speaking of the end of the year, today is the...
So now we can get on to the next video. As I said, it's just all the same. All the same that the Democrats are...
Last day period, or...
Democrats are evil. So let's get into the next one. Senator Ted Cruz.
MSI is proud to present the first 7nm technology gaming laptop on the market.
When you watch some of these people get up and speak today, they don't even listen. Oh, you have violated the Constitution. Well, what has he done?
Hold on.
Done wrong. Well, we don't know that. They don't even have any crime. I'm the first person that ever get impeached, and there's no crime. I feel guilty. You know what they call it? Impeachment light.
Well, he was actually the third president impeached by the House. Let's talk to Tech.
No. He said he's the first president impeached without there being an actual accusation. That's what he said. The first president when there's been no crime, there's been no evidence of an actual crime. And as I've said this, and I mean, I may definitely don't like Hillary, but when it came to the impeachment of Bill Clinton, it was all based on, of course, the felony of lying under oath. But it was lying under oath of the fact of him lying about having sex with Monica Lewinsky, which even when that came out, when he made that speech of I did not have sexual relations with that woman, we were all like, now, if he did, why would he lie about it? That's between him and his wife. I would have come straight out going, you know what? This is an issue between me and my wife and everything. I have no idea what it has to do with the presidency. Well, did you have? And I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to plead the fifth because it is a personal matter. And what the hell does that have to do with the government, running the government? Nothing. That's what I would have said. I wouldn't have lied like he did. But yes, he lied under oath, which of course he could be impeached for that. But he still wasn't actually really impeached.
To Senator Ted Cruz, he's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He's been watching it all. He's on Capitol Hill. Senator, good morning.
I really like Ted Cruz. When I went to his rally here in El Paso, when he came, loved Ted Cruz. He was a great man. I shook his hand, talked to him. Great man. His whole speech was on point. Just fucking love this man. But to go against Donald Trump for the 2016 election, Donald Trump was still the better choice. So let Donald Trump run, be reelected for 2020. And hey, I don't know. I keep proposing that maybe I should run for 2024. But if Senator Ted Cruz wants to run in 2024, he has my vote.
Richard, yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
What do you make of Nancy Pelosi yesterday, late in the day after the vote, floating the idea that she might not actually send the articles of impeachment over to the Senate because the Senate might not be fair because there are a bunch of mean Republicans running it?
I think the Democrats are in a total panic. Yesterday was a very, very bad day for Democrats, and it was a bad day for the House of Representatives and for the country. When it comes to Pelosi, her threat is really quite remarkable. Her threat to the Senate is do exactly what I want, or I'm not going to impeach the president. I'm not going to send over the impeachment articles.
I'm just literally, as more and more people were talking about this, especially when I saw this article, I saw it today, but it was posted 2 days ago. What kind of a threat is that? Seriously, what is that? How is that a threat? We're trying to impeach the president, but if you don't do what we want you to do in the Senate, we're not going to impeach the president. And all of us are going, okay. This is so stupid. It's like all of us true Americans are sitting there going, so you're not going to impeach him if they don't follow your threat that you're making, and we're all just going, you're not really holding, you're not holding any cards, Nancy. I mean, Nancy, I love talking to Nancy. So Nancy, let me try it. When you threaten somebody, when you try to threaten somebody, you're supposed to be holding some kind of you're supposed to have some kind of leverage. But by telling us if the Senate doesn't follow what you want, you're just not going to impeach Donald Trump. That's not a threat. That's not a weapon against us. We're all like, okay, so then don't impeach him. But now again, we should be going to DC whipping your ass, because literally for the past 3.5 years, you guys have been wasting our time and taxpayer money on this impeachment, and you're not going to go through with it. So you just wasted all of our tax money and time then. So we should just be going down there and whipping your ass because you wasted our money.
Attitude is, okay, throw us in that briar patch. Don't send them. That's all right. We actually have work to do. Some of us are showing up fighting for more jobs, for higher wages, for the working men and women who elected us. And
then this is what I pointed out the other day in my other videos. Don't these Democrats have jobs that they were elected to do? The actual job that they were elected to do. But for the last 3 years, they've just been trying to impeach Donald Trump and not actually, they're getting a paycheck, but they're not actually doing the job they were fucking hired to do. So again, I keep pointing this out. Why are we not just going there to DC and barging down, smashing down their doors and whipping their ass for wasting our time, wasting our taxpayer money, and just wasting all of our time, trying to disrupt the running of the most powerful nation on the planet because they're acting like a bunch of fucking 5-year-olds. We should literally be going in there, charging these people with treason and, whipping their ass as they're building the fucking gallows right there outside of the house, building the gallows. And just treason is, it's punishable by death. So we should be putting these people to death. They are traitors to our country.
And it's actually, if Nancy wants to delay delivering the articles, I have a date I would suggest for her, a delivery date. Okay. How about November 2nd, 2020? There's something going on then that actually should resolve this question.
Senator, the president's tweeting, he said, I got impeached last night, I guess he means night, without one Republican vote being cast, with the do-nothing Dems on their continuation of the greatest witch hunt in American history. He says, now the do-nothing party wants to do nothing with the articles and not deliver them to the Senate, but it's the Senate's call.
Well, listen, the Democrats are in a panic because in the last month, their case collapsed. I mean, rewind back to a month ago. A month ago, every Democrat was saying over and over and over again, bribery. Remember, that was their talking point, bribery, bribery, bribery. The reason was the Democratic Campaign Committee, they polled that, and their focus groups had told them, yes, bribery's bad. The American people don't like bribery. And so in one day, every Democrat began saying bribery. Here's the problem. The facts, the actual evidence doesn't support bribery. As they heard the evidence, they couldn't prove bribery. And they've now backed away from bribery. They backed away. Remember quid pro quo? Yeah. That was their favorite phrase.
There was extortion.
That's disappeared. And they've now taken the position that they can impeach the president without alleging that he violated any criminal law whatsoever, without alleging he violated any federal law, literally that he not even alleging a speeding ticket. That is a remarkable position. So it's an extreme position. You played a clip from the president a moment ago where he said he's the first president impeached without alleging a crime. He's exactly right. This has never happened in the history of the country. The prior impeachments, every one of them, the articles alleged a federal crime. This one doesn't. It is exceptionally weak, and it doesn't meet the constitutional standard for high crimes and misdemeanors. And that's why Pelosi knows when it goes to the Senate, there's going to be a fair trial in the Senate, but this is not going to succeed because the House hasn't proven its case.
Yeah, and it's the first.
Yeah, if I were one of the senators there, the moment, if, because we don't know, if she releases these articles, the moment it comes across in there, I'm going to go, I propose a motion to just dismiss this crap. There's no evidence in here. We all watched C-SPAN. We all watched the hearing. There's no evidence here. So I propose a motion of just automatic dismissal. There's not going to even be a vote. There better not be a vote, because if I were there, I'd be like, they didn't prove a crime was even committed. Why are we here? We came in, I mean, we got to work, so we came in to work, but we came in to work on something bogus that these assholes put out there, filed.
Fully partisan impeachment as well. And they said months ago, we would never do it unless it's bipartisan. But Senator, let's say, and it's just in an imaginary world, that Nancy Pelosi actually moves the bills over to the Senate. What's your view on how it should play out in the Senate?
Well, I think we're likely to see a trial that will start in January. If I were to guess a date, I'd guess January 6th, which is the first Monday in January. And the very first thing that happened is all 100 senators are sworn in. The Chief Justice will administer the oath, and we sit as jurors. Then what happens? The House managers will present their case, and that will last likely several days. They'll present whatever evidence they have. They'll present whatever arguments they have. And we're going to do substantially better than the House. It's going to be a fair forum. That means both sides can present their case. We'll respect due process. We'll listen to what they have to say. So the managers will present their case, right. But then, unlike the House, the president gets to present his case. His team gets to defend him. We'll listen to those opening arguments, listen to the president's team lay out evidence. The next stage will be senators asking questions. Now, this is not going to feature, say, Elizabeth Warren and me going 15 rounds asking questions, because the Senate rules don't let senators speak in open session, which means we're all sitting at our desk, but we're not allowed to speak while the cameras are on. Our questions have to be written. So we write our questions, submit them to the chair, and the Chief Justice will ask the questions.
Wow.
At that point, I think there's going to be a debate about whether to shift to a second stage of the trial of bringing in witnesses. I imagine the White House is going to have to assess, as a legal matter, do they want witnesses? My view is, if the president wants to call witnesses, like Hunter Biden or like the whistleblower, the president is entitled to do so, and the Senate should allow him to do so. But that's a question for the White House legal team to make.
So, as I said, this should, if it came across my desk, I'd already be going, I want to file a motion that this needs to be dismissed because they have not laid out anything. They handed over articles, but there's no crime. There's nothing at the top of the articles that says they're charging him with an actual crime. So if no crime has been committed, then what are we doing? Oh my God, they're so stupid. Oh, these people are the Democrats are just retarded. They're absolutely retarded. All right, what is next so I can throw this in here? Oh, good Lord.
The House Committee on the Judiciary is introducing 2 articles of...
Yeah, here's the piece of shit that back in 97, 98 that said that this should never happen, when it was Bill Clinton, that is. But with Donald Trump, all of a sudden his whole story changes.
Impeachment, charging the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, with committing high crimes and misdemeanors. The first article is for abuse of power. This gives rise to the second article of impeachment for obstruction of Congress.
So that's it. 2 accusations that are so vague, they can mean anything and nothing, which is the point. After all, when there is no crime, you got to leave it to the imagination. And boy, is this open to interpretation. It's like a Rorschach test for the blind, which suits the media perfectly. Remember how this process was reverse engineered. It wasn't, here's a crime, let's impeach. It was, let's impeach and hope we find the crime. It's the holiday reboot of let's pass the bill to see what's in it. Pelosi's last big hit. And what a flop. Worse than Angry Birds 2. And we knew it, yet we still had to carry the farce, despite it featuring clowns who joked about Barron and played dishonestly edited clips of Trump. But while the press tortured viewers by pretending it mattered, one question remained. Why didn't the Republicans just bolt? After all, we all knew it was just a stupid skit designed to make Dems feel good since they're immune to feeling stupid. The rest of us are left with what cops call the mess, meaning when thieves break into a house and find zilch, the only thing left to do is trash the place. Hence the amorphous abuse of power, which anyone can now use on the Dems, and they should. I mean, when you move forward with a 3-year witch trial, knowing the only support will be partisan and therefore doomed to fail, while boasting that you'll keep doing it forever, isn't that an abuse of power? It's certainly an abuse of America's patience, institutions, trust, and cohesion.
And money.
Which makes it another media-assisted hoax. Collusion, Covington, Kavanaugh, now this. If you want to find the lie, just look where the media points its cameras. I have a theory, Dana, I would like to share with you.
Love your theories.
I do too. Okay, so I believe this impeachment process satisfies the media while helping Trump in key battleground states, correct?
Yes.
So what does that sound like? It reminds me of CNN and MSNBC, primarily Morning Joe, doing nonstop mocking coverage of Trump, which the media and their ratings enjoyed, but got him elected. So are they too stupid? Is Morning Joe and CNN just too stupid to see that they're reelecting Trump?
I see what you've done there. It's
Yeah.
a theory.
Yeah. It's a leading question, just like the impeachment inquiry.
So absolutely, the polling shows that two things. Nationally, Republicans and Democrats, nothing has changed. Okay, so the numbers are the exact same as they were not even just 3 months ago when impeachment was announced, but 3 years ago when the president was elected. And the number of people who disapprove of the presidency is at like 53%.
Right.
And that was remember what did Hillary Clinton get in the popular vote? About that number. Nothing has been persuasive on either side. Both sides are completely locked in, except in one place, and that is in the key battleground states: Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. And of those 3 states, in the last 3 months, impeachment has absolutely hurt the Democrats, and it has helped President Trump. If President Trump were to lose next November, it will not be because of impeachment.
Right.
That will absolutely not be the case. And also, it was just announced that the House Judiciary Committee is going to move so quickly that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. is when they're going to start the markup. That means in the committee, they're basically saying, here's the final details of what we're going to go forward. So who says Congress can't move quickly?
Yes, exactly.
But I think the reason they want to move quickly is they want to rip the Band-Aid off, get this over with, because they know that politically, while it was important for their base, they need to move on so that they can try to.
Now, this was a week ago that she just said. They're trying to hurry up. They're going to hurry up. They're going to hurry up. So this is a week ago when they thought that as soon as they put these articles and vote on these articles, that it was going to immediately go to the Senate. This was a week ago. And she's saying that, yeah, they're trying to hurry up so they can basically get it to the Senate. Let's repeat that.
They want to rip the Band-Aid off, get this over with, because they know that politically, while it was important for their base, they need to move on so that they can try to, I guess, argue on the merits going into November.
Don't tell Andrew.
See, they thought a week ago that the House was going to hurry up through it all so we can get into it. But then we all know what happened. Nancy Pelosi is no, Mr. Poopy Pants. I'm gonna hold on to the articles myself. I'm gonna hold on to them.
Johnson, I think he was impeached in 3 days. But
that was the 4th time.
I would say this about the numbers that Dana was citing accurately. That in fact, what?
I said thank you.
Well, of course. But I do think that if you look at the numbers and almost half the country favoring impeachment and removal, that's unprecedented. I mean, I go back to Bill Clinton and it was only like 29%
to the media
at the max. No, I think the media is on both sides of this. I think there's conservative media, there's liberal, or I don't know, whatever.
Sure,
there's all kinds of media where people want to simply have their pre-existing opinions affirmed. But I will say that to my mind, when you look at an allegation like bribery, Greg, and you say, oh,
good point.
I don't see the bribery charge, right? I mean, I see this big bucket. I would say gee, I guess it wasn't a fishing expedition. It was done in good faith, and this is what they think. Or 2, that when you look at abuse of power, bribery would be included in such a charge, the so-called quid pro quo allegation, right?
No, yeah, you're right though. The bribery just kind of went away. Do we have a bribery montage that we could throw to at this point that makes us look incredibly sophisticated?
The evidence shows an impeachable offense: bribery, abuse of power, and obstruction of justice.
There was a lot of evidence of bribery.
There's a substantial amount of evidence on the abuse of power, on the question of bribery.
You can call this extortion, you can call it bribery. It's all the same thing. Did the president's demands on Ukraine constitute bribery?
Treason, bribery, or acts of omission. And in this case, it's clearly one of those.
Treason, bribery, high crimes, and misdemeanors.
What happened to the bribery?
Well, I think it's in there.
It was clearly one of those. So you don't know. You don't know. What are we charging them with? We don't. It's somewhere in there. We're just gonna 52 card pickup. We're just gonna throw it, and it's somewhere in there. We just gotta find it. That's not how it works.
Bucket I was talking about.
Yeah, but I think the bucket is so amorphous that the Dems are now swimming in that bucket.
No, I think that they were actually, as I said, acting in good faith, not fishing.
What? See, he's one of those Negroes I cannot stand. He's one of them. Anybody with a brain is going, there's no evidence. Let's just move away from this. We're done. And it's no, we just got to continue to look. They've been looking for over 3 years and haven't found anything. Isn't that enough time for you fucking idiots?
Not a fishing
expedition. I think they kicked the bucket.
I will say that.
Yes, it was a fishing expedition. Wow. There's no way that these people are this stupid. That dude, the freaking Negro. There's no way that he is that stupid. Can't be. He's got to be pretending to be stupid. Because I just can't see it. I can't imagine, considering that that's how I grew up, with these people trying to act like they're dumb, like they don't know something, when the whole time they're like, let's see if I can get over on them. It was a fishing expedition. We of intelligence all know that.
I can't believe that we're talking about left-wing media, right-wing media, how this report gets interpreted. All of this, even what we're talking about here. What about the fact that it's Trump's people bringing these charges from Vinland to Sondland to Taylor to you? I mean, these are
deep state law. Oh, let me get Jesse in here. Jesse, the first impeachment probably in history based on emotional trauma.
Yeah, I mean, the two articles really are: we hate you and we can't beat you. not anything here. What do you have? First, you had no collusion, and then there was no extortion, no bribery. They're just settling on things, Juan. They say obstruction of justice because Trump said, "I'll see you in court." Every president tells Congress, "I'll see you in court." You can't impeach someone for saying, "Let a judge decide." And then the other one, abuse of power. By that standard, every single president could have been impeached by that very low standard. They tried to rush this thing. The American people saw that it was flimsy, and then they lost interest in it. And now everyone's just talking about football and the Irishman. This is what's going to happen. 10 of these Democrats in Trump districts now in the House, they want to censure. They don't even want to vote on impeachment. They're nervous. And like you said, you're right. Trump was losing to these 3 Democratic contenders in these battleground states a month ago. Right. And now he's beating them all by a lot. And he's had a great year in 2019. He killed Baghdadi, blockbuster job numbers. Now they're passing new NAFTA. I mean, and he exposed the deep state, which we haven't even gotten into. So it's been a good year.
Let me talk to, Emily, if you're like me, before I watch a movie, I always go to Wikipedia to look at the plot summary because I don't like surprises.
Oh, I do. I never look at Wikipedia.
But I feel like we already knew the plot and we're watching this thing unfold. We already know where it's going to go, which is in the Senate. Go.
This is true, which is why it's such.
And now it comes down to the whole FISA reports. It comes down to how all of it. This is literally all the stuff that Donald Trump said was going on. And everybody, he's just trying to distract you all. He's lying. And now all of it is actually coming out. The truth is actually coming out. The whole FISA fiasco, all of it, that literally was the start of all this whole impeachment bullshit, is all a lie. So yeah, Nancy, release those articles, because it's going to go to the Senate, and Donald Trump, I mean, you know what, to tell you the truth, now let me rethink my position here, where I said I'd be voting on a motion of just dismissing the whole thing. Actually, okay, I'd dismiss it, the whole impeachment thing, but I would still be going after Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. I'd be going after Sondland. I'd be going after all the people that were involved in the whole FISA report, the corruption at the FBI. I'd be going after everybody. And I guarantee Clinton, and I guarantee you, should that happen, should that actually come up, there's going to be a lot of mysterious deaths. Guarantee it. But let's go on to the next one. With these stupid commercials.
Doorbell Pro. You'll know if the person at your door is friend or foe.
Here's the Washington Post political team dinner. Straight news reporters here, smiling into.
Oh, wait, gotta back it up. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. Oh, with these commercials. All I did was back it up.
Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. Impeachment light. That's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. Way to go, Libs. You impeached him.
It doesn't really feel like.
But they didn't impeach him. He was not. They just voted on articles. They passed those articles in a partisan vote in the House, but they actually didn't file anything, so he's not impeached.
We're being impeached. They call it impeachment light. It's impeachment light. I don't know about you, but I'm having a good time. It's crazy.
You know the craziest thing? Trump's not even impeached. Nancy's keeping the 2 articles in her purse. She hasn't even sent them to the Senate yet. Now, once they get sent to the Senate, then impeachment's official. But she wants to play games. She wants to wait and squeeze a little more drama out of this whole boring deal. She's afraid if she sends these weak articles, the Senate's just going to find him not guilty and be done with it all. So Nancy's making demands. McConnell has to run the trial her way or else. Sounds like Nancy's the one demanding a quid pro quo. Not how this works. The Speaker doesn't get to set the terms. The House investigates and the Senate judges. She doesn't have any leverage. The Democrats have already denied Trump due process, and now they're denying him a right to a speedy trial. It's par for the course. I thought Trump was a dire threat to democracy, and he had to be impeached before he could rig the next election. Well, I guess there's no urgency anymore. That's how you know it was pure politics.
And pure bullshit. We're going to rush. And now we're going to wait. Sounds like the military. Hurry up and wait.
This was never about the Constitution. Nancy only cares about the PR of impeachment. She wants Trump to be impeached but not acquitted. McConnell called her bluff. He'll just keep confirming judges and blasting the scam.
This was 3 hours ago. By the way, yeah, this was 3 hours ago.
Feet in front of the entire country and second guessing whether they even want to go to trial. The Senate exists for moments like this. That's why this body has the ultimate say.
Game, set, match. Nancy's so overrated. She needs to get back to work. The president's working. Just look at the last few months.
Remember from 3 weeks ago, that other one I posted in this video? I said, remember what they were working on, what they were supposed to be working on? Donald Trump's been working this entire time during the fact that all these other idiots, Nancy Pelosi and all of them, haven't been working. Look what the president's done. Recent Trump accomplishments. Look at all that he's gotten done in that time. Remember, the other one was, as I said, was like, 3 weeks ago. This is all the stuff he's gotten done in that time. And that's not even all. He has signed other things in this same time frame, doing working his ass off more than any other president in the last, over 50 years, especially in the modern era, computer era, if you think about it. Well, PC computer.
North American trade deal, China phase 1 almost papered, Baghdadi's dead. NATO allies have to pony up more money. Space Force got funded, border wall funding, stock market records getting smashed, Dozens of judges reproved. The do-nothing Democrats lost the case. As of today, more Americans are against impeachment than for it. Impeachment collapsed. Look at the trend line here. The nosedive. And Trump approval ratings averaging close to his all-time highs. Higher than Barack Obama's was at this point in his first term. And this latest poll has Trump beating every single Democrat head-to-head, doing even better in the swing states. Just to give you a sense of how impeachment played in the swing states, take Pennsylvania. During the height of the hearings this fall, here's what people in the swing state PA were searching for on Google. See the yellow and the green spikes there? Those are Steelers and the Eagles. At the bottom, you see, you can barely see it, that's red. That's impeachment. You don't care about political football, you care about the real thing. You all knew Democrats were just throwing a temper tantrum.
Lying.
Nancy is out there shushing her members like moms do at church.
Article 1 is adopted.
What a bunch of bad actors. Nancy trying to put a serious face on this deal, but the squad was high-stepping it into the end zone.
I am on my way to the United States House floor to impeach President Trump. On behalf of my incredible district, 13 District Sham, let's do this.
Remember, she was the one who said impeach the MFer 6 months before the perfect phone call. And the media couldn't contain itself either. Here's the Washington Post political team dinner. Straight news reporters here, smiling and toasting, wishing everybody a, quote, merry impeachments on the big night. They had to delete that. You wouldn't want everyone to think they were biased or anything like that. Now, the left went crazy, and here we are. They couldn't recover from Hillary losing, so they tried to frame Trump and kick him out. Mueller failed, impeachment failed. Now they're out of ammo. It's like in a movie when the bad guy runs out of bullets. Click, click. What are they going to do now? They're going to run out another dossier, another Access Hollywood tape, another whistleblower. They don't have any card left to play.
He's forgetting about the Stormy Daniels stuff. What happened to all of that? I thought there was like a mountain of like stuff against Donald Trump, and you're now shooting blanks, just as he said. You have run out of, this is your last hurrah right here. And there's still no evidence against Donald Trump.
Only Biden can save them now. Would you want your fate in Sleepy Joe's hands? Everything the left threw at Trump made him stronger. That's because it's not about him. It's about you and the issues Trump's fighting for. Trump completely changed the Republican Party. He modernized it, injected populism into it. He's a post-Cold War president. He advanced new trade terms to keep jobs in America, new security deals in the Pacific, Mideast, and Europe. He strengthened the border, energy independence, low taxes, taking care of the vets, law and order.
3 of those issues mattered, well, 4 of them. Law and order, taking care of us veterans, because I'm one of them. Taking care of the border, because I live here at the border, El Paso, Texas. Back it up. Let's back it up just so we can go through it again.
Populism into it. He's a post-Cold War president. He advanced new trade terms to keep jobs.
Yeah. Got rid of fucking NAFTA, which almost destroyed El Paso. Almost destroyed El Paso. And that was what, Clinton that did that crap? So it's just more.
In America.
That's right. Oh, dumb commercials.
Simply Safe on home.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell slamming Nancy Pelosi and other House Democrats for delaying the delivery of their articles of impeachment. Listen. Well, here's where we are, Mr. President. We have the curious situation where following House Democrats' rush to impeachment, following weeks of pronouncements about the urgency of the situation. Urgent situation. The prosecutors appear to have developed cold feet. And now, in a strange twist of fate, Harvard law professor Noah Feldman, a witness for the Democrats during the impeachment inquiry, is suggesting that the president has not yet been impeached at all, telling Bloomberg, quote, if the House does not communicate its impeachment to the Senate, it hasn't actually impeached the president. If the articles aren't transmitted, Trump could legitimately say he wasn't truly impeached at all. Remember, this is from somebody who was with the Democrats. House Judiciary Committee member Ben Klein joining us now. So, Congressman, has the president been impeached?
You know, it's a great question, and I read the Bloomberg editorial, and just when you think it can't get any stranger, you know, Nancy Pelosi threw all those moderates in Trump districts, those moderate Democrats, she threw them under the bus, and now she's just dragging them down the street. They are along for the ride, whether they like it or not. When she says she wants to play this out for political purposes, it just shows you how weak their case is and how really it is being abused. The Constitution is being abused for political purposes.
But I want to press you on this point. Do you think the president has been impeached, or will that not happen until the Senate picks up the trial?
I think when you have a bill and it is passed, has to be conveyed to the Senate for its process in the House to be complete. So under that,
again, going back to that cartoon, that musical cartoon, growing up as a kid, I'm just a bill, I'm only a bill. Well, it doesn't get signed into law. It has to go. Again, did you Democrats not take, civics? Did you not take government? Did you not take political science in school? Did you not take any of these things that as far as being a citizen of the United States, you should fucking know this shit?
That scenario, the articles of impeachment do need to be communicated to the Senate for the House action to be completed and the Senate action to begin. So I would argue it's incomplete at this point.
Congressman, some would argue that in the court of public opinion, the president has been impeached by the House. Nobody expects.
Who cares? Okay, what is it? Okay, so yeah, she's with Fox News. Who cares what the court of public opinion wants? We have laws for a reason. We do not have a court of public opinion. This is not an episode of the Orville where you press a button, and just all of a sudden make somebody guilty. We have laws. What is this court of public? I'll tell you right now, that episode of the Orville was one of the scariest episodes I have ever seen. We're talking going against horror movies, anything. That it's from, what is it? It's mostly the Orville's mostly a comedy. And that episode scared the shit out of me because that seems to be the direction that these dumbass snowflakes are pushing us towards. That you're guilty just because somebody hits a dislike on your video or something or whatever, or they're trying to dox you, or it's getting just really, really scary. That's the reason why I've said in other videos, if I get approached, I'm going to immediately consider it a threat and I'm going to deal with the threat. So if any stupid snowflakes or Antifa or whatever come up to confront me, I'm automatically going to consider you to be a threat. Look at all the videos that we've seen of them just attacking random people, sucker punching people and everything else. So if I get approached at any point by any leftist, Antifa, anything along those lines, I'm automatically going to consider it a threat and I'm going to deal with the threat, quote unquote.
Did the Senate to remove him. So Nancy Pelosi's stall tactic here would be an effort not to give the Senate an opportunity to have its trial, which she has said would be unfair, and basically would detract from the process and the fairness of it all. But really, at the end of the day, it's just about having the last word.
Right. And, in the House, the Speaker has the majority rule. And so she dictates what's going to happen. And here she's trying to dictate to the Senate what should happen or what she believes should happen. And she's realizing that her commands and her insistence stops where the House ends. And Mitch McConnell is not going to have any of it. He's going to run the show his way. And she's going to come under enormous pressure from her moderates in Trump districts to hurry up this process because they want to get on to the business of reelection.
Gary?
Hey, Congress.
So yeah, it's time to end this farce and move on. It is time to get rid of this stupid farce and get back to just running this damn country. But every single person that is attached to this farce should be brought up on charges of treason. All the stuff dealing with the FBI, everything, every single thing. These people should be brought up on charges of treason.
All right, welcome to Hannity. As the Democrats are literally going over the cliff politically, they're destroying themselves. Never stop them. By the way, what we're seeing tonight is the culmination of the pathetic so-called resistance against President Trump. It is backfiring big time in the Washington swamp. Lawmakers are now set to vote on articles of impeachment. It is the last meaningless step in what has been just a baseless political smear against the president. 3 years, do nothing Democrats. The latest chapter in what has been a desperate, dishonest, nonstop effort, well, to undo a duly elected president and take the president down, impugn the will of his supporters, we the people. And like every other attempt to destroy President Trump, it is built on a pack of lies by a group of the most partisan hacks that can never be trusted. The individuals now advocating for this madness impeachment were the very same people pushing the Russia collusion hoax. They were wrong. 4 separate investigations, dead wrong. Mueller report, no collusion. And tonight, we're going to detail all of their lies, all of their corruption, all the individuals behind this. And we start with the hero of the deep state, the super patriot himself, who won't come on this program, Jim Comey. He's been lying, deceiving. He has formed the very basis of the Russia hoax. What we now know, everything we reported 2.5 years has been dead on accurate. In the fall of 2016, Comey signed off on the very first FISA warrant application against Trump campaign associate Carter Page. Remember, it's 1 step, 2 step. You get to Page, then you get into the Trump campaign transition, and as Attorney General Barr said, deep into the Trump presidency. He signed that application. He signed 3 of them ultimately. He swore that the material provided was true and accurate. On the top of a FISA application, it says verified. It was unverifiable. What he used, the overwhelming majority of information, was Hillary Clinton's dirty Russian dossier. And that was the first of many repulsive lies. The application,
So again, should she release these articles to the Senate, this is what's going to happen. Comey is going to get charged. Clinton's going to get charged. Good Lord. Schiff is going to get charged. Pelosi's going to, all these people are going to get charged. That's one of the reasons why she's not going to release these damn articles, because it'd be suicide.
Now know relied on a single source, secondhand information from Christopher Steele, being paid by the Clinton campaign and the DNC. And Comey's FISA application omitted what they knew, that Clinton paid for the material. Comey's FISA application also omitted.
So I'm just curious, how is she supposed to run if it is fact? It's not speculation. It is actual fact that Clinton paid for the dossier. This is a fact. She committed a crime. So how is she supposed to be running for president? I'm trying to understand this. But again, it's apparently it's okay for the Democrats to commit a crime because, Democratic voters just don't care if the Democrats commit a crime. But we could make up crimes against Republican, people, and that's okay. Again, we should be storming D.C. and dragging these damn Democrats out of their damn offices and whipping their ass and charging them with treason.
That the material was not verified or corroborated. Oh, well, Comey's FISA application also admitted Christopher Steele had a severe political bias against the president. There were numerous warnings he had not to use this information. And subsequent renewals submitted by Comey omitted that Steele's primary subsource, the only source, not even a source. Well, he described his own evidence as rumors, hearsay, speculation, a crude bar joke. And he also admitted that the subsource even questioned Steele's credibility. Wow. And he intentionally admitted that Steele doubted the credibility of his subsource. And get this, Comey's FISA renewal straight up lied about Carter Page and his connection to the CIA. And one of Comey's lawyers fraudulently changed the document to remove the fact that Page, well, was actually a source for the CIA and instead said he was not a source. But remember, Comey told us all that any claims of FISA abuse were just utter nonsense. This is a lie, what we're about to show you. Look.
I have total confidence that the FISA process was followed and that the entire case was handled in a thoughtful, responsible way by DOJ and the FBI. I think the notion that FISA was abused here is nonsense.
Nonsense. Yet another lie. Comey knew the dirty dossier was garbage. He knew it was full of unverifiable rumors and speculation. He was warned multiple times. And even Christopher Steele, under oath, when he heard this, he should have gone back because the law requires this. Said, I have no idea if any of it's true. That's why he repeatedly denied that it was used as the bulk of information in the FISA applications. That we now know also is a lie. That means Nunes was right. That means the Grassley-Graham memo was right. And that means that the Schiff show, Adam Schiff, the congenital liar, lied repeatedly too. Take a look.
You called the dossier unverified, salacious. Why did you use that to the FISA court to ask for surveillance for Carter Page? Not only use it, but you led with it. A bulk of that FISA application deals with that dossier. Why?
Yeah, that's not my recollection, Brett. And I don't know that the FISA application has been released. My recollection was it was part of a broader mosaic of facts that were laid before the FISA judge to obtain a FISA warrant.
There was a lot more than the dossier in the FISA application?
My recollection was there was a significant amount of additional material about Page and why there was probable cause to believe he was an agent of a foreign power. And the dossier was part of that, but was not all of it or a critical part of it. It's my recollection.
Wasn't a critical part. It basically was everything. Another lie. The Inspector General finding that the dirty dossier was the central and essential piece of the FISA application. But like any self-righteous habitual liar, Comey just can't come to terms with the truth. Watch this clip from over the weekend. Take a look.
You don't see a difference between it's part of a broader mosaic and it played an essential role in establishing probable cause?
It was one of a bunch of different facts that were assembled to apply to the court. It was the one that convinced the lawyers that they had enough now with that.
Really? So then where's this other evidence that y'all supposedly had? If that was just one of, when all of this was going on, the dossier, and it was all over the news, the dossier, the Steele dossier, the Steele, where's all this? They didn't, I don't remember in any of those other news articles or those reports that came out on CNN and everything else, I don't remember them talking about it's one of, it is a mosaic of. I just kept hearing the Steele dossier over and over and over. That's all we all heard. That's everything that we heard. So then where is all this other mysterious evidence then? Where's it all at? If there was this, if the dossier was just one part, then where the hell is all the other evidence then? Where is it all? And if I remember right, I saw something that stuff is starting to disappear. Like evidence against the Democrats is just immediately just like starting to disappear. Funny, because as I said previously in this video, that not only apparently are emails and things just mysteriously starting to disappear, something tells me people are going to start disappearing. Wouldn't be surprised if Comey mysteriously commits suicide all of a sudden. Keep watch out for that.
Added to the pile to go forward.
Did you know that the FBI had talked to the Russian contact and he said what Steele said he had told him was not true? Did you know this? You're the FBI director.
First, again, the report will speak for itself. I don't believe the FBI concluded that Steele's reporting was bunk after talking to a subsource. Inspector General did not find misconduct by any FBI people. He found mistakes and negligence and oversight.
No, that's not true. In the case of Kevin Kleinsmith, he has referred it for a criminal investigation.
Right, but that's not been resolved. This business with the lawyer changing some email to a partner on the team.
Now, in case you're wondering, Comey is not having a psychotic break from reality. He's just lying like he usually does through his teeth. And as Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett pointed out in his bestseller Witch Hunt, These lies are just the tip of the iceberg. First, as FBI director, look at this. Comey repeatedly reassured Donald Trump that he was not a suspect in the counter intel investigation of Russia. A lie. Remember in the spring of 2018, Comey claimed he still had no idea who funded Steele's dossier. Lie. Before he was ultimately fired, Comey told the president he doesn't leak and he doesn't do weasel moves. That was a lie, too. In fact, Comey leaked government memos detailing meetings and conversations with the President of the United States. And Special Counsel Horowitz, well, in this case, the Inspector General, referred him to the DOJ, remember, for criminal prosecution over leaking and lack of candor. Make no mistake, there is a very real human cost to all of these lies. This is the premier law enforcement agency in the entire world. This entire Russia witch hunt that put this country through nearly 3 years of hell. Carter Page's reputation utterly destroyed, illegally spied on, his civil liberties violated, his civil rights, they didn't exist, constitutional rights non-existent. Op-ed by law professor Jonathan Turley, An Apology to Carter Page, details the reckless, nonstop smear of a private citizen, all because of Comey's fraudulent FISA application. Let's not forget about Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. How can we forget what Comey did to a 33-year veteran? And as a part of Comey's deceitful investigation into all things Trump, what did he do? He brags. Remember, first it was Andrew McCabe saying, oh, no, you don't need a lawyer. But he brags, James Comey brags, he sets up an American war hero. Oh, I'd never do this or try this in the Bush or Obama years. No, I wouldn't even dare do that. Watch this.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the same room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. And in both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals, and who would be there. And I thought it's early enough. Let's just send a couple guys over.
Oh, I wouldn't do this in these other administrations. Is this the higher loyalty that you claim to possess, Jim? Because is that how you treat a 33-year veteran of this country? Served in combat, Jim. Now, that just shows you to be so deceptive, narcissistic, and yeah, you're a liar. Don't forget Jim Comey also signs the first FISA application, verified, October 2016, goes to Trump Tower 2017. Oh, it's salacious but unverified, President-elect. Lie again. Then he signs 2 more FISA applications, verified. He lies. And the great irony of all of this, it was Lieutenant General Flynn, not Comey, who now faces years behind bars for lying when the FBI didn't even think he was lying. But they were going after his kid and he was bankrupt. Oh, let's see, you're going to prosecute my son or I fall on the sword. I'm shocked at General Flynn's decision. Without a doubt, Comey played a central role in what is the weaponization of these most powerful tools that we entrust to our government. And they turned them against we, the people. And he didn't act alone. Let's see what former CIA Director John Brennan, another notorious liar, let's see what role he's played in all of this. I can't wait to get to the bottom of that. According to multiple sources, he strongly advocated for Hillary Clinton's bought and paid for dirty dossier to be included in the official U.S. intel assessment. Time will tell. The Inspector General Horowitz confirmed this fact in his report because in 2017, we do know this. Brennan clearly lied to Congress when he said the exact opposite. Take a look.
Do you know if the Bureau ever relied on the Steele dossier as part of any court filings, applications, petitions, pleadings?
I have no awareness.
Did the CIA rely on it?
No.
Why not?
Because we didn't. It wasn't part of the corpus of intelligence information that we had. It was not in any way used as a basis for the intelligence community assessment that was done. It was not.
Just wondering what Prosecutor Durham, Attorney General Barr, they seem to know an awful lot about this that we will learn in the days and weeks ahead. Remember, this is the same former CIA director used his important status to push baseless, harmful conspiracy theories against the President of the United States repeatedly. Take a look.
I think he's afraid of the president of Russia. Why? Well, I think one can speculate as to why. That the Russians may have something on him personally that they could always roll out and make his life more difficult. Clearly, I think it's important for us to be able to improve relations with Russia. But the fact that he has had this fawning attitude toward Mr. Putin has not said anything negative about him. He continues to say to me that he does have something to fear.
Lies, deceptions, hoax, conspiracy theories, rumors, speculation, conjecture. Two of America's most powerful bureaucrats abused their power. They spread false information. They tried to undo a presidential election, and they got caught.
Yep. And they got caught. So just absolutely ridiculous, this whole process. So again, if Nancy releases these articles to the Senate, everything that this video has ended with, all the FISA report, the dossier, all of that is going to come out. And if you think Epstein, because Epstein didn't kill himself, it's going to be a lot more mysterious deaths. Comey, I guarantee you, Comey will probably be at that top of the list of Jason Bourne or somebody like that going after him. So it's going to be, if I mean, things will come out, things will come out even against Nancy Pelosi. The Democrats, if everything goes the way that I'm thinking and the way that it should, the Democrats should lose almost every seat coming up, especially considering that a lot of them may actually get arrested and should be arrested, should be charged. So yeah, if this comes out with how this is already playing out, all the lies and everything else, the Democrats should be devastated for the next 20, 40 years. And tell you the truth, I have no problem with that. None. But something tells me that if that does seem to happen, if that is going to be the case, then I'm thinking that the Democrats are probably going to you know what, we're going to burn everybody. So I see like Rome burning, Nero, Rome burning. I see the Democrats doing that. I literally see just and I'm not just speaking figuratively, I'm speaking literally. I see just shit burning, just like how the LA riots and shit. I see just, Democratic voters. I see something coming out. If this happens the way that it should, meaning all these people should be brought up on charges of treason, all of these Democrats, Comey, all of them, everybody being charged with treason, just being all getting investigated and all being charged. I see somebody sending out some kind of a signal kind of thing to get all these anti-fucks and these snowflakes and everybody else to start rioting on a grand scale. I mean, yeah. It's well, you know what? We lost, so burn it all. So, I mean, and these people are fanatics. Look how they act. These damn snowflakes and everybody, they all act like they're insane. So I see it. I see if this all comes to pass, I see just hell breaking loose for a little while anyway, because of course Donald Trump will declare martial law, and people like me will step forward. Us veterans, a lot of my friends, and even active duty, we definitely will be coming up militia-wise and be like, hey, because I'm friends with a lot of the cops. So I'll be like, if Donald Trump wants to start deputizing those of us, hey, we've already been talking about this, veterans and a lot of my friends that are still active duty. We've all been talking about this. If shit hits the fan, we will come out we'll be out there on the streets, especially here in Texas, because I open carry. So, we'll be here. We'll be out there on the streets taking care of business. A lot of my boys in blue, a lot of my brothers and sisters out there, a lot of the police that I'm friends with and everything else, they won't have to put their lives in danger. I mean, I love my friends and family that are cops. So they won't be putting their lives in danger. We'll be out there guarding their backs. We'll be out there watching their backs. So it won't just be them. If shit starts burning and they put themselves in situations where they could be overwhelmed, us citizens will be out there by their side, armed to the teeth. So you Antifa people, I'm giving you a message right now. Y'all better stand down. If this all comes to a head with these Democrats, just like the Democratic Party, just all being charged with and I'm sorry, I'm saying straight out, they should be charged with treason. I'm warning y'all now. If something goes out to where it's like, oh, well, we just lost the government for the next 40 years. We're just going to burn it all to hell. I'm letting you guys know this is just a straight up warning. It's not a threat. This is a warning. Shit hits the fan. I got a lot of friends, friends that are in blue. And I'm not going to let them put their lives in danger because I'm friends with a lot of their families. With my company, I've DJ'd a lot. I mean, I've watched their kids grow up. I have known these families since their children were 9 years old, and now they're graduating from college. So I have known some of these kids since childhood. I'm part of their family. So if shit hits the fan and my boys in blue are out there, my boys and girls in blue, I will be out there by their side. My kids are grown, and I'm, disabled vet and everything else. And as I said, I've almost died 8 times, including this year in June alone. So I have no problem. Definitely, I signed my name on the dotted line as far as to protect the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is a lifetime commitment. So I will be out there by their side, putting my life on the line to protect them. So, and this is coming from all my friends, whether they were veterans or active duty, or they're just straight Second Amendment followers and lovers just like me. We will be out in the streets in force by their side. So if shit hits the fan, y'all better be ready, because we definitely aren't playing. We will not be playing. This won't be, oh, we're going to fire warning shots and threats and everything else. If everything goes to hell, we are going to bring all fire and brimstone, Sodom and Gomorrah down on your asses. So y'all better stay tame. Y'all better stay tame and stay, a bunch of little pussycats, because if shit hits the fan, we are going to fuck you up. Anyway, my name is Mark, and I'm going to finish this video. This last video that I had played, not this one, but the last video I had played that dealt with the Steele dossier and all that, that should have been a separate video. And I realized that as I was already playing it, but whatever. So you guys take care. Love y'all. Have a great weekend. If I don't do another video before Christmas, Merry Christmas. As I said, I'm not a Christian. I really don't even celebrate the holidays, but I have love and peace and everything for my brothers and sisters, my friends and family that I do care about, that I love very much. So I do say Merry Christmas. I do. Halloween is my favorite holiday anyway, but I don't really celebrate commercialized holidays. That's just not my thing. To me, and Valentine's Day, I don't celebrate none of that shit. To me, I shouldn't have to be told when to buy a present for people I care about or whatever. I mean, me and my friends and family, we buy stuff for each other all year round. So we don't need a special day to say, hey, when I see a gift and I know it's perfect for one of my friends or family, I'm automatically going to get that gift. I'm not going to wait until their birthday and shit. I'm just going to get that gift. Because to me, because somebody mentioned to me, asked me the other day, well, don't you celebrate your birthday? And I'm like, you do? I don't know. I almost died earlier this year. So every day that I'm alive is my birthday. And they were like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. So I don't need a day of my birth to celebrate. Every day that I'm alive, after all the crap that I've gone through and am going through, kidney disease and everything else is a blessing. So anyway, as I said, love y'all. Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year if I don't post anything before then, which I probably will, because something tells me in the coming days there's just going to be more political shit that's going to come out. So I'll probably be posting something before Christmas and everything. But anyway, if I don't, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year.